send my units out, and we can see that my Mutalisks are actually much faster than my Zerglings, because they don't have to worry about terrain. So they're actually getting ahead of my Zerglings. Usually you want to keep your army together. So I stop my Mutalisks and my Zerglings. And my goal here is to get my Mutalisks around his defenses. See, we can see the front of his base right here. He has blocked off his choke point, his ramp. He has created a very narrow area where my units can't necessarily get through. They'd have to fight through this sentry and this stalker in order to get through this little area to make it to his base. So this is a fairly good defense that he's got set up here. A fairly good choke point. So my goal with these Mutalisks is to bring them around the back end. Just like he did with the destructible rocks, I'm bypassing those destructible rocks to bring my Mutalisks in, and I'm going to attack his probes here so that I can disrupt his economy like he was trying to do to me. So my Mutalisks come in, and they're attacking his probes. Now you can see what he's doing here. He just pulled all of his probes off the line, and you're going to hear that a lot too. You're going to hear the term off the line. Now I explained earlier this was the mineral line. Being pulled off the line means to be pulled off of the mineral or gas lines. So he pulls his probes off the line to protect them. He brings them over to his military units, which would be able to help him if I did not send my Zerglings in. My Zerglings are also going in the front door at the same time. They're attacking this stalker. Remember, Zerglings are the counter to stalkers. In this case, anyway. Too many stalkers could be too much for them. But anyway, I break down his front door. I'm destroying this pylon. Meanwhile, my Mutalisks are continuing to attack his probes to damage his economy. Back at home, while you're attacking, you never want to be idle. So back at home, I have set my queen to begin spawning more larvae. As you can see, the little larva up there and the little white bar and this bar down here. They all indicate that I'm spawning larvae on this hatchery. So I'm trying to build units and army while I'm attacking. This is called macro. A player's ability to build a large army even while attacking is referred to as macro. Macro in and of itself means just to build buildings and to build army. There is another term called micro, and I will tell you more about micro in just a moment. But macro refers to macro management, which means to build your bases and armies. So I am macroing up some more units over here while I'm attacking his base. Meanwhile, he's managed to spawn several more stalkers, and they were able to take out my Zerglings. Because even though Zerglings are the counter to stalkers, the stalkers were able to overpower my Zerglings by outnumbering them. So he brings in his stalkers, and stalkers are a good counter for Mutalisks. So he brings them in, and I'm forced to move my Mutalisks out of the way before any of them die. So my Mutalisks are able to escape. His stalkers are going to try and pursue, but no, he decides to leave them back in. I have one Mutalisk still back here, and I did not properly handle that Mutalisk. I didn't know it was back there still, so he comes and takes it out. Mutalisk gone. Alright, in the meantime, because of my macro, you can see that I've macroed up several more Mutalisks and several more Zerglings, and I'm going to go in for another attack. Now see, my Zerglings are going out, and what I've done here is I've taken these Mutalisks and I've set them to follow my Zerglings. Remember how Mutalisks move faster than Zerglings? Well, it's important to keep your army together. So what I've done is I've set it to follow set this whole group of Mutalisks to follow one of my Zerglings, and they're going to keep up exactly with the Zerglings as they move along. It's just a good way to maintain a semblance of structure within your army. See, my Mutalisks are waiting patiently overhead while the Zerglings run. All right, so I'm going in for an attack on his front door because I was able to macro up all these units while he was trying to defend his base. So we're coming into the front door. Now, we're going to talk a little bit about micromanagement here. Micromanagement refers to a player's ability to manage each of his types of units or each of his units in combat. Being able to control your units while fighting is a staple of good StarCraft play. Making sure the correct units are countering the enemy units at the right times in a battle can make the difference between a win or a loss right off the bat. So, the opposite of this is called the A move. Now, let me explain that a little bit. Like if we look at a Mutalisk, or actually let's look at the Zergling, because I actually do A move my Zerglings here. So I have a Zergling selected. You can see that this is called the attack button. Well, the hotkey for that on the keyboard is attack. If you take a unit and you press A, and then you select a spot on the map, that unit will move. It's called an attack move, or an A move. Will move to that spot and will engage any enemy units that it comes across. So that's called A moving, and it's not how you want to handle most combats. So what I'm doing here is I'm going to micro my my Mutalisk, because I know he's got these Stalkers, and I don't want him to damage my Mutalisks. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull my Mutalisks away and let the units that can counter Stalkers in first. So we can see here, I micro away my Mutalisks. See, I see the Stalkers, and then I micro my Mutalisks away. That's called micro right there. He is not microing his Stalkers at all, and I am not microing my Zerglings. My Zerglings are actually A-moving towards these Stalkers. I'm not taking them and specifically targeting any of these Stalkers. I'm just letting them move in on their own, so A-moving them so that they distract the Stalkers, while my Mutalisks will come in and finish them off. See, I swoop around. This is called, again, that's called micro. So I'm microing my Mutalisks over. And my Zerglings, they're choosing their own targets. You can see some of them are attacking this Stalker, some of them are attacking this Stalker, but my Mutalisks, on the other hand, you see these red lines? That means I have queued up. Now, queued up means to set waypoints for your units. I have queued up several different targets for my Mutalisks. So once I select them all, you can see that they're first going to attack this Stalker, then they will move on to this Stalker. Oh, no, sorry, they're all going to attack this Stalker first, then they will move on to this one, and then they'll move on to this one. That's what that red line means. They're going to attack here, here, then here. So I've got them microed and queued up so that they're going to attack all these and focus fire them down. That's another term you're going to hear is focus fire. That means to take all of your units and focus on one of the enemy units to take it out as fast as possible. So my Zerglings have A moved in, and my Mutalisks are being microed to focus fire down these Stalkers in order. Now this is a good way to handle this fight because it gets rid of Stalkers so that they can't attack for a long time. Boom. And you can see here, the Zerglings do get taken out, but by the time the Zerglings are dead, the Mutalisk, my micro of my Mutalisk has managed to take out most of his Stalkers. And there you go. He leaves the game. So, that means he has lost. Now, why did he lose? A lot of people have been confused about why a player loses a game, why a player wins a game. Well, the objective in a StarCraft 2 match is to destroy your opponent's base. You have to destroy all of their buildings. Once you have destroyed every one of your opponent's buildings, you win the game. But it is now at a point where he knows he's going to lose. He cannot produce enough military units to stop my Mutalisks. So the game is effectively over at this point. He knows this, so he surrenders. He just leaves the game. Now, the proper thing to do whenever you leave a game is to say GG. You hit enter, type GG, and then hit enter. And that will say GG before you leave a game. And that's good game. That is the best way to surrender. You're telling your opponent, good game, you won fair and square, I'm leaving now, I surrender. So that's what GG means. And GG is often used as a verb. It's used to say, Dark Minion GG's. That means he surrenders. It also means good game. So it means several things. It means Dark Minion GG's. It can also mean we played a good game, and so on and so forth. So it's polite to GG. He chose not to, but he was polite at the beginning, so we forgive him. He was very polite at the beginning by saying you too whenever I said good luck, have fun. So and it is frustrating sometimes whenever you lose a match. Sometimes you just want to quit and get on to the next one. So he does not GG, but he does surrender, and the game is, and I've won the game. So I'll go ahead and let the game finish playing out here in this last 2 seconds. There we go, it's done. Alright, so I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope I covered the basics. If you have any questions, I hope to answer them in future videos. I will be doing one of these videos for Protoss, and I will be doing one of these videos for Terran. I think I've covered everything that I wanted to cover. This is the basic flow of a StarCraft match and a lot of the terminology. I know I threw a lot at you guys here, so if you want to watch this more than one time, you are more than welcome to, and I'll probably cover some more of these topics a little more lightly in the future videos as well. So, thanks a lot for watching, guys. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. I may not respond directly to them, but I will take them into account for my next series, for my next video in this series. Alright, thanks a lot for watching, guys. Take care, and I will see you next time.